When Yaman uttered those unforgettable words, "No one will ever hurt you again," the entire world stopped for a moment. Fans who had followed his roller coaster relationship with Demet Özdemir felt goosebumps. This wasn't just another celebrity statement, it was a vow, a raw emotional declaration that carried the weight of years of history, love, conflict, and heartbreak. To truly understand what triggered this bold promise, we need to revisit the complex journey that led Can and Demet to this dramatic turning point. It all began on the glittering sets of Erkenci Kuş, Daydreamer, where the chemistry between Can and Demet exploded onto the screen. Their passion was undeniable, every glance, every touch, every unscripted smile felt real. Audiences around the world quickly blurred the lines between fiction and reality, convinced that what they were watching was more than acting. And in truth, behind the cameras, the two stars were building a connection that even they couldn't fully control. But with fame came pressure. Paparazzi followed them everywhere, tabloids speculated endlessly, and fans demanded answers. Were they together? Were they hiding a secret romance? Or was it all just a beautiful illusion created for ratings? For Demet, who has always been careful about protecting her personal life, the attention was overwhelming. She struggled with the weight of expectation, with the fear of being defined only through her connection to Can. Meanwhile, Yaman, fiery and outspoken, sometimes responded impulsively to the gossip. His interviews often made headlines, sometimes in ways that stirred controversy. Yet, beneath the tough exterior, insiders close to him say that he was deeply protective of Demet, even when he didn't say it aloud. The breaking point came when Demet faced harsh criticism from both media and fans after choosing roles that didn't match the romantic fairy tale image audiences had built around her, and negative comments filled her social media, tabloids questioned her choices, and whispers of betrayal floated around. It was in this storm of judgment that Can reportedly reached out privately, assuring her that she wasn't alone. According to close sources, this is when he made his bold vow, "No one will ever hurt you again." It was not just a declaration of support, it was a deeply emotional stand, a promise to shield her, no matter what the world might say. This vow, once whispered in confidence, soon spread like wildfire. Fans dissected it, media magnified it, and suddenly it became more than just words. It became a symbol of loyalty, of unfinished love, of a bond that could not be erased by time, distance, or other relationships. And in that moment, millions of fans felt that the story of Can and Demet was far from over. The vow didn't appear out of thin air, it was born from years of unspoken emotions, near misses, and silent reconciliations between Yaman and Demet Özdemir. To the outside world, their relationship seemed like a storm that had ended long ago. But insiders knew better, the connection had never truly disappeared. After Erkenci Kuş ended, both stars tried to carve their own paths. Can pursued projects abroad, quickly becoming a sensation in Italy. He posed for magazine covers, signed contracts with global brands, and built an image as the Mediterranean heartthrob. Demet, on the other hand, focused on her acting career in Turkey, starring in dramas that showcased her versatility. On paper, it seemed like they had moved on. Yet, behind the scenes, their names were constantly linked, as if fate refused to let them drift apart. Every time Demet appeared with a new co-star, rumors spread that Can was jealous. Every time Can was photographed with someone new, headlines screamed about Demet's reaction. The public, hungry for drama, kept them tied together. But for Demet, this was exhausting. She wanted to be recognized for her talent, not only for the fairy tale romance fans imagined. And here's where the pressure truly began to weigh on her. At one point, Demet faced a brutal wave of online hate after being accused of betraying the love story fans had built in their heads. She was accused of abandoning the image of Can and Demet as a couple, as though her personal and professional choices belonged to the audience. It was cruel, it was unfair, and it hurt her deeply. Insiders revealed that during this period, she avoided social media for days at a time, just to find some peace of mind. That's when Can, despite his own busy schedule in Rome, reportedly called her. Their conversation, described as emotional and heartfelt, was what led to the unforgettable promise. Sources close to the actor claim that he told Demet, "You don't deserve this." "Whatever happens, I will never allow anyone to hurt you again. You've carried so much on your shoulders, and if I couldn't protect you before, I will protect you now." For fans, these words struck like thunder. It was as if Ken was finally admitting what so many had long suspected, that he had regrets, that he still cared, and that somewhere deep down, his feelings for Demet had never truly faded. This moment marked a shift. What was once just speculation suddenly felt like truth. The vow didn't just comfort Demet, it reignited the public's hope that their story wasn't finished. People began whispering, could this be the beginning of a second chance? Or was it simply a protective gesture from a man who couldn't stand to see someone he once loved being torn apart? The impact of Yaman's vow quickly spread beyond their private circle. Within days, entertainment magazines, fan forums, and social media platforms exploded with speculation. Headlines screamed, "Did Ken just confess his love again?" and "Demet protected by Yaman's bold promise." The story wasn't just about a vow anymore, it became a cultural moment. For millions of fans, this promise revived a dream they never wanted to give up on, the dream of Ken and Demet finding their way back to each other. Even those who had accepted that the two stars had moved on with their lives couldn't help but wonder if fate was pulling them back together. Clips from Erkenci Kuss resurfaced online, paired with the words, "No one will ever hurt you again." Fan edits went viral, reminding everyone of the passion, the longing, and the unforgettable connection they had once shared on screen. But what truly set this vow apart was its raw sincerity. Yaman has always been known for his strong, sometimes fiery personality. He is outspoken, unafraid of confrontation, and often in the spotlight for his boldness. Yet this time, his words were not about defending himself or addressing critics. They were about protecting Demet. They carried no hidden agenda, no attempt to grab attention, only vulnerability. And that vulnerability struck a chord. Demet, meanwhile, remained quiet. She neither confirmed nor denied the reports of Ken's promise. But her silence spoke volumes. Fans noticed subtle details, a softer tone in her recent interviews, a faint smile when his name was mentioned, and even the absence of her usual denial when journalists linked her to Ken. This silence fueled the fire even more. Could it mean that she welcomed his vow? That she appreciated his protection? Or perhaps, that she too was beginning to see the possibility of something more? Behind the scenes, close friends of the actress reportedly shared that Demet was touched by Ken's words. For years, she had carried the weight of being misunderstood. People judged her choices, her relationships, and her independence. To have someone, especially Ken, the man who had once been at the center of her life, openly stand up for her, meant more than anyone could imagine. At the same time, skeptics pointed out that this might just be Ken's way of repairing his public image. After all, he has faced criticism in the past for his outspoken comments. But those who know him well insisted that this was different. It wasn't about publicity. It was about emotion, about regret, about a bond that could never truly be erased. The vow quickly became a turning point not just in their personal story, but in how fans viewed them. Suddenly, instead of seeing them as two separate celebrities living parallel lives, people began to hope for a reunion. Hashtags like #CanDemetForever and #NoOneWillHurtYouAgain trended worldwide, proving that their love story still held a powerful grip on millions of hearts. As the world watched, Yaman's vow transformed into something larger than either of them could have anticipated. It was no longer just about two celebrities, it was about resilience, loyalty, and the idea that love, even when scarred, could still find a way to shine again. For Ken, those words, "No one will ever hurt you again," carried a deeper meaning than the public realized. People close to him revealed that he had long carried guilt for not being there during the hardest chapters of Demet's life. When she faced relentless criticism, when she endured heartbreaks, and when she was left to defend herself against rumors, Ken had remained silent. This silence weighed on him. His vow was his way of correcting the past, a declaration that he would never let history repeat itself. For Demet, the vow arrived at a fragile time. Her career was flourishing, but emotionally, she was vulnerable. She had given so much of herself to her roles, to her audience, to the expectations of an industry that constantly demanded more. To suddenly hear Can's words, strong, protective, and filled with emotion, reminded her that she wasn't as alone as she sometimes felt. Insiders whispered that she was deeply moved, even if she wasn't ready to make any public statements. Fans, however, didn't need confirmation. To them, the story was already alive. They began writing narratives of reconciliation, imagining what a reunion could look like. Pictures of the two together resurfaced, fan accounts compiled timelines of their relationship, and speculative articles filled the internet. Some claimed they had already met secretly in Istanbul, others swore Demet had been spotted in Rome. Whether true or not, these stories only made the vow feel more real. The real question remained, was this promise the beginning of a new chapter, or simply an emotional gesture from a man who could never forget his past love? Some believed it was Can's way of opening the door again, testing whether Demet still felt the same. Others argued it was nothing more than loyalty between two people who had shared something extraordinary, even if romance was no longer part of it. Yet, what cannot be denied is the impact. Yaman's vow rekindled hope in millions of fans who still believe in love stories that defy time and circumstance. It reminded everyone that behind the fame, behind the headlines, there are real emotions, real regrets, and real promises. And in that raw declaration, "No one will ever hurt you again," people saw not just a man protecting a woman, but a heart fighting to make peace with the past. As the cameras flash, as rumors swirl, and as fans wait eagerly for the next chapter, one truth remains clear: Can and Demet's story is far from over. Whether destiny leads them back into each other's arms or not, this promise will forever stand as a symbol of their unbreakable bond. Because sometimes, a single vow can reignite a love the world thought was lost forever.